Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't done a trade review in a little bit. Last week was pretty hectic for me, had a lot of stuff going on, so I apologize for that. Anyways, we're back to the normal schedule. So you'll start seeing these Tuesday through Friday from me. So, anyways, here it is. So, this is Tuesday the 7th. And we are still open. The market's still open. It's only 10:20 right now. I was done trading. Holy shit, what's crazy? I was done trading by 9:30 today. It was literally a 1 minute candle that I entered on, and it hit my take profit before that 1 minute candle even closed. Pretty crazy. But anyways, let's go over it real quick. So this might be hard for you guys to kind of see what was going on. So let me delete some of this stuff. But I entered on this inversion right here. So get rid of this. Let me make sure that. Okay. This SMT had not happened yet. So, all right. So, this big green candle is open. So, let's go to a 15-minute chart. This is what I was looking at before the open on a 15-minute chart. Okay. We have this big 15-minute gap right here, which lined up with the London low. You can see right there, and Asia low is right below it. Then I had this 15-minute gap, and this 15-minute gap is from way back. I can't even remember, from all the way back here. It has not been inverse yet. This was from July 11th. Okay. Or sorry, June 11th. Okay. And you can see all it price had been above it all these days. Every other day it came down into it. It respected consequent encroachment. It wicked below the 50%, but it kept going up. So this was a strong, strong level right here. So I always keep these on my chart until they're invalid. So this gap is still valid. Today we have traded back down into it, has not been inversed yet. So this gap is still valid to me. Okay. So I had that on there. And then you can see these lines are off because I'm on the 15-minute. I do my volume profile on the 5-minute chart. But this was so if we push higher. But the thought today was we were going to be bullish because of SpaceX trading on the NASDAQ. There was part of me wondering if we would. Because they like to mess around with us because everybody's thinking bulls, bulls, buys, buys. So they mess with us and they push the price lower. So, anyways, and then sorry, also I had this bearish gap up here. This was going to be one of my take profits, okay, if we pushed higher. So let me go back, go down to the 5-minute. So here's a 5-minute. See how the lines line up now, okay? So I don't trade on the 5-minute. I do like to go back and forth from the 5-minute, 1 minute, and sometimes I use the 3-minute. I use the 15-minute to find my zones. So the 5 and the 15. So here is, and also, sorry, I'll also use the 1 hour, 4 hour as well. So here's the 1 minute, 1 minute chart. Let's open it up a little bit. Okay. So again, this big bullish candle, this is the 9:30 open. Okay. I mentioned in my Discord community that if we push lower and we sweep London low and we respect this gap, I would enter longs and my take profit would be up at this 15-minute gap. And so here, this is what happened. Okay. So right before the open, this is 9:25. We push lower, we wick below one and low, and look what price creates. Real quick. Am I on it? No. Come on. All right. Look what price creates right here. We create a um, a 1 minute bearish gap. Okay. So right before the open, and we sweep one and low, and we're making smaller candles, right? So I just waited. Right here is 9:29. We push up into the gap. It does not inverse it. I'm glad it didn't because I hate when my levels get inversed or they get like the trade starts playing out as expected before the open. Because I'll never enter a trade a minute before the open because you never know what's really going to happen. So, anyways, I just stood on my hands. Then 9:30 hits. We opened right here. I had this on my chart, right, as a reference. This 1 minute fair value gap. So what it was is if we inverse this gap, I am entering long. Okay. Final TP was going to be up here. Okay. But so we come down, we don't inverse this 15-minute gap. We leave a big wick. We pop up with volume. I didn't wait for a candle closure because it's the open. So a lot of times, if you wait for candle closures, you are going to miss a lot of the trade. And I definitely, if I waited for this candle close, it would have been a losing trade because I would have entered here, it would have popped up, and then it reversed on me. So once we got above this 1 minute gap, it is now an inversion. Okay, we inverse this gap. I literally entered right there. I wanted this, but I looked over and I saw this big 1 minute gap. And at the time, VWAP was straight across right here. So I actually moved my take profit down to, yeah, it was a little above 660. So, because there's this huge gap, lines up with VWAP, and we jumped up, took me out for $1,000. Obviously, this wasn't here. I didn't go through any drawdown. So it was a zero drawdown trade. I entered, it literally popped straight up and hit my take profit. So that was a trade of the day. And then after that, we dealt with a lot of shenanigans, right? But look what price does. Okay. After this, what it was fair value gap continuation trades, and I'll show you the one that I called out to my community. Okay, so we come down, we swept Asia at, oh, sorry, another thing I forgot to mention, we had an SMT here. So we swept London low, NASDAQ swept London low, but ES didn't right before the open. So I was paying attention to ES at the same time. And then, yeah, everything else happened. Entered on the inversion, took my profit up here. Okay. So after that, we trade down, we inverse this gap. Okay. We come back up. I, with SpaceX and everything, I was thinking since we had another SMT with Asia low, um, and NASDAQ swept Asia low, and ES hadn't. We have this big gap right here. I was telling my community if we inverse that gap but wait for a candle closure, I could see us coming up and taking out London high. This is London high up here, or take profit at this bearish gap. Okay. You can see we never had a good candle closure above it, just a little bit. So I told them it's invalid. Don't enter. Okay. I then was going to say enter on the retest, but it already kind of happened. So I just waited. Okay. Started watching order flow, my order flow charts, and no buyers were stepping in. You know, some buyers stepping in here and there, but it was mostly sellers, right? So the next trade I called out and I didn't take it personally. I should have, but I was doing a couple other things. I was getting this video ready and all that. So, but anyways, I did call this out to the community. I told them wait for this gap to be inversed, wait for it to get retested, and then your TP could be this gap. But also, my thought is sell side liquidity is getting targeted. And look what happened. What a beautiful trade. On the retest, I love to try to get entries around the consequent encroachment level, which is the 50% level of gaps. You can either put a limit order there or you just wait. And once you start seeing it actually trade in your favor, you can enter. You can also wait for an inversion. There is a tiny one right there. You just got to trust the process. There's not always going to be an inversion. But right here, there is some chop, right? Let's see if we go down to the 30-second. Yeah, we got a. No, we don't have one there. That's a bullish. Okay, so no inversion, but with order flow, watching order flow and all the big trades coming in, this was kind of an easy read here. So from here, that's 495 just down to here. So that's 120 points right there. It went all the way down to 275. So 220 point trade right there that was called out in my community. So a great day for the Bears, right? I am glad that I trusted the process. I took this trade and got out when I thought it was smart to get out because I would have got wrecked, right? So that is a trade of the day, my trade of the day, and then the other trade. So the fair value gap continuation trade, right? So we're trading lower, we inverse the gap, wait for the retest, enter short, and it continues lower. That's why it's fair value gap continuation. Okay, come down, we're rating this sell side, and now we'll see some type of reaction off of this. But still, I'm looking at order flow right now, and no buyers are stepping in. It's all sellers. Sellers are taking over. There is five, six. There's 7,000. Seeing over 7,000 more sell orders coming in than buy orders. So, anyways, guys, that is the trade review for Tuesday. Hope you guys learned something, and I will catch you on the next one.